Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to be along with you in Jupiter, Florida. I see rain clouds. Uh-oh. Let's take a look at the weather forecast down here and see what's going on with the Cardinals and the Marlins playing at 12:10 today. Just returned to my studio here. We are across the street from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. I was waiting for manager Ollie Marmol to address the media. It got pushed back until 11 a.m. local time here, so I am unable to get him on the show because he pushed back his time a little bit. Not his fault. It's just the way it is. You kind of so when you're down here covering spring training, you just kind of go by what you can do schedule and time wise. Our media availability in the clubhouse today was from 9:30 to 10. Got to chat with some players and catch up with them. Got here yesterday, and speaking of being here on time, that was fun yesterday. Being able to fly in and be back in the Jupiter Cardinals parking lot at 10:30 a.m. after signing off at Arch Madness at 10:30 p.m. the night before. It was a fun little 12-hour jaunt as I was able to leave relatively on time from Lambert and get here. As it turned out, I noticed that we had all kinds of cancellations and delays, so that was very unfortunate for a lot of people, and I got really lucky because otherwise Brad Thompson would have done that game by himself. Looking at the radar, we have, or Chip Carey probably would have been able to swoop in and do something, but Brad was preparing to be Vin Scully yesterday. Looking at the radar, we do have down here a line of storms to our northeast over the Atlantic, and then we do have some rain that is closing in right now to our west. So I think we're going to get wet. But in terms of missing this game, I don't think so. Line of rain is going to get through here probably, if I'm looking at this radar right, within the next hour, we should be totally fine. So a 12:10 start for the Cardinals and Marlins here in Jupiter. We're going to have Ricky Horton and Mike Claiborne on the call. And until then, sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. John Mozeliak has agreed to join us at 11:30 this morning. So we will visit with him here in a little bit. Travis Ford is going to be moved up 15 minutes. So normally we talk to him at 10:30. Just received word from him that we're going to do that at 10:15. So we'll take a break here momentarily, and then we'll come back with Travis Ford at 10:15. Talk to the SLU coach. They pulled off a win yesterday at St. Bonaventure. We'll get into that and preview the Atlantic 10 tournament. They'll play Tuesday afternoon at 3:30. They'll be taking on Rhode Island. KFTK, our station down the hall, has been able to take care of that for us, and we really appreciate that. We have City playing on Y98. They had a 2-2 draw last night with Austin, which was incredible because they scored in stoppage time. So we'll get to that as well. We'll hear from Lutz Pfannenstiel at 11:15 this morning on Sports on a Sunday morning. The sporting director for St. Louis City SC, they are undefeated. They have 2 draws and a win, but they are 1-0-2 and off to another good start. Good enough for third best in the Western Conference. We're going to talk a lot of college basketball. So after Travis, we'll get into what happened at Arch Madness yesterday. We'll hear all about SLU from him. We'll talk a little bit of Mizzou, but it is like mind-numbing that they are 0-18 in the SEC. I have a few thoughts on what's going on over at Mizzou as well with the athletic director situation. That and much more on Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX, as well as hockey. The Blues lost 4-0 to the Rangers. I think they are fading from this playoff race, but we'll see if they can catch fire. I just don't know that they're that much of a contender. I think it's a good team, not a great team. When we come back, we'll hear from Travis Ford, the head coach of the Billikens. We're going to get into a lot of Cardinal. In fact, let me give you the lineup before we take a break. We'll give you the lineup as to what's going on today. So Victor Scott is leading off and playing center field. Paul Goldschmidt is the DH. He's batting second. Nolan Gorman, the second baseman, bats third. Nolan Arenado is in the lineup today. He bats fourth. Matt Carpenter is the first baseman, batting fifth. Jordan Walker is in right field. He bats sixth. Alec Burleson, I think he's going to be your starting left fielder because Lars Nootbaar, with displaced fractures in his ribs, I just saw Newt working out, getting some time on a bike, just trying to keep himself in condition. But he fell on the rib area and fractured a couple of ribs. That is going to be tough to come back from. Ivan Herrera is the catcher, batting eighth. Mason Wynn is your shortstop, batting ninth. And they list Gordon Graceffo as the first pitcher that you'll see today. Drew Rahm is also on the list, as well as Andrew Kittredge and a few others. It is Sunday baseball on KMOX 1210, the Cardinals and the Marlins. When we come back, the head coach of St. Louis University, Travis Ford, a little bit earlier than his normal time. That is coming up. Sports on a Sunday morning, live from Jupiter, Florida on KMOX.
Spring training is here, and it's almost time to embrace the essence of summer and let the soothing tones of Cardinals baseball transport you to warm, sun-soaked days. With the free Odyssey app, relive the joy of tuning in with your transistor radio, now seamlessly connecting you to every St. Louis Cardinals game on KMOX. Wherever your summer takes you, make sure to download the Odyssey app today and savor the sounds of Cardinals baseball. That's AUDACY, redefining your summer soundtrack. Live games available for fans and market only.
Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
Fresh air freedom.
Fresh air freedom.
We're bringing you a big truckload of fresh air freedom.
It's been a while.
Clutter and junk have got you cornered.
Every time you turn around, there's more than there was before.
You barely have room to move.
You're so crowded, it's hard to breathe.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Your home is bigger than you think.
You don't need a new home.
You just need us to make the junk disappear from the one you've got.
All you have to do is point.
You're about to have a big home.
A happy home.
Where you can fill your lungs with fresh air freedom.
Now you've got room to fly.
Now you've got the breath to sing.
Now you've got the space to entertain.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon with all the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, don't do that. Just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. You can reach them at 314-966-5000. Now, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Berry are experts in the field of diagnosing and treating diseases of the eyes, from dry eye to allergies to cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. They handle it all. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are cornea surgeons as well. So if you're having a problem, give them a call, 314-966-5000. You can also find them at youridoc.com. And of course, they're located at 12990 Manchester Road, it's just a half mile west of I-70 on Manchester. Really easy to get to from anywhere. And all you need to do to find out more is call 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-514-1026. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Jupiter, Florida. I'm looking at this stream that Drew Young, our producer, puts out on the socials, and it's just a picture of me with looks like palm trees, a sunset, and a beach in the background. I can assure you that I have not gone to the beach At least not yet. There's a lot of baseball to be covered down here and basketball. I'll be watching lots of hoops down here. I always do. And joining me is the head coach of the Billikens, Travis Ford, joining me a little early today, which I appreciate. You fitting us into the schedule. I know it's busy. How are you, Coach?
Doing good, Tom. Appreciate you having me on. I know you're enjoying yourself down there. So hope all is well, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. No, I hustled down here yesterday to get a game in after doing some hoops in Arch Madness. Got to take in 8 games on Thursday and Friday, so I got my fill there for the time being. And then I was following your game at St. Bonaventure. That's a nice win, man. I mean, you go on the road in this league anytime. It is a great, great victory, and it was a wild game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tom, you know, we go in there on on senior night, and they're the oldest team in the country. So luckily they honored the seniors after the game, so it didn't slow the game down early. But their whole team is full of seniors. It was a sold-out crowd. And you know St. Bonaventure, that is a wild place, especially when it's packed. And they usually pack it out every night. Very, very loud. Student section is crazy. Big senior night. And really, really proud of the character and the toughness our guys showed. Just really proud of them to continue to just fight. You know, we've won 3 of our last 5 games, 2 of them on the road. You know, especially during, you know, times of adversity of all the stuff we've been through. Just really, really proud of the character of our basketball team.
You know, you just took my question because I was going to ask you that. You know, you and I have done the last 2 coaches shows. We've talked a lot about tough times, and I'll get back to that in just a moment, just what this season has been like trying and trying to get things back to where you want it and, you know, taking different roads to do that. But I was going to ask you what you're most proud of. And I know that's not the easiest question because when you win 12 games in a basketball season, it's not, and you still have more to come, but that's not the direction you want to go. But are you proud of some of the things that you've seen from some of these players, like a Sion Medley, players like that?
Yeah, no question. Absolutely. You know, I tell our team all the time, I'm really proud of how their attitude, how they keep fighting every day. Practices have still been very, very good. Obviously, we've won 3 of our last 5 games, 2 of them on the road. So really proud of that. But, you know, obviously anybody that knows me and knows me well, that I don't know if there are probably people as competitive as I am, but not many are more competitive. And I love preparing. I love everything about competition. I love being around the guys every day. And, you know, I spend all day, all night trying to figure out how to help every team I've ever coached. And this one, even in particular, because we're always trying to find answers to fix some things. So, you know, but I think as a coach, especially doing as long as I have, you look at it and I understand, you know, there's things I would do differently this year. You know, you always look back and they're saying, man, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done this, obviously. But to just look at the season in general and not throw in there the injuries, you know, obviously NIL coming into play in a big recruiting year, different things like that. You know, we as a staff and everybody we see that side of it. Doesn't make it necessarily easier, but, you know, and it doesn't take away the areas of that I take responsibility for. So, yeah, there are, just because you've won 12 games at this point, I am proud of the progression of Larry Hughes and Kellen Thames and Sion Medley. And, you know, a lot of these players have continued to get better, from TJ Hargrove to Gibson Jimerson, throughout their careers. So, yeah, there's, you know, I think, you know, there's always a different perspective. Fans have a perspective. We as coaches have a perspective of things. And there's a different perspective based on, you know, kind of where you stand within the circle or outside of it. So, yeah, it's been the most frustrating year of my 27 years. But there are positives, absolutely positives. And I've enjoyed, as I told you guys, I've enjoyed the losing. I haven't enjoyed some of those things, but I've enjoyed coaching them because they come to practice every day with good attitudes and continue to work hard.
You got that win yesterday. You mentioned that you've won 3 of your last 5. You went on the road. I know things get crazy in the A-10 tournament, and you'll have, your little pregame press conferences and a lot of eyes on the Billikens. It can be motivation too. I mean, you can talk to the guys and say, look, there is actually a path for you to the NCAA tournament if you want it. I mean, and I guess the question is, how much do you have left if you look to your players and say, can you muscle through this? I mean, your next game is Rhode Island. You've got a game to play at 3:30 on Tuesday in the Atlantic 10 tournament. I mean, this is why you put on the uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all these guys and players understand that, and they get it. Everything at this point, you got to just look at it as one game. You got to win one game, and then move on and try to win one more game. All the coach speak, but it's very, very true. Very true. We actually got to New York very, very late last night, so we're here now and getting ready to head to practice. So, our guys, I expect them to go out, play extremely hard, and do what they have been doing. And as you said, anything can happen this time of year without question. I like where our team is mentally. I like how they played physically yesterday a lot. So yeah, anything can happen, this time of year for sure.
I talked to you towards the end of the show about NIL, and I felt like we didn't have enough time to really get into all of that. And, I don't know how much that time we have now either, but I kind of, for those who missed it, I thought you were not careful with your words. I thought you were very professional in your answer to me about your plan for the future, about exploring the NIL space, understanding the NIL space. Can you expand on how you view NIL in the game today and building the St. Louis Billikens?
Oh yeah, no question. Obviously NIL space is extremely, extremely important to any program. And I've said it, you look over the years, we've recruited high level players. I've recruited at a high level my whole career. And net, and do a lot of that, but just trying to outwork people, relationships, all those things. So it's a little bit different day. You still got to work your tail off every day. That doesn't ever change. But now, obviously the NIL space, the landscape of the portal and NIL, changes things drastically, without question. And, it's such an important piece. And I think there was a person, and I'll go back to our Billiken Victory Funds, from Troy Robertson to Scott Harmer. All those guys they love the Billikens. They work their tail off every single day to do everything they can to, make all the programs as good as they can. And they've been terrific. I just think, I think there's a perception out there of where we're at or where we were, that, maybe a little different than what I know, but it's part of it. It's part of it. But to answer your question, it is an extremely important piece in the recruiting process as far as, that's, players nowadays, that's an important piece to it. And us as coaches, we can't get involved in it and things like that. But it's part of the landscape of college coaching and part of the landscape and recruiting and different things like that.
Sure. It's a huge part of football now, huge part of college football as well, certainly in the conversation. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know that you have a practice to get to. You got a postseason to prepare for here. You got a game on Tuesday at 3:30. Just for our listeners, we're going to carry that game on KFTK 97.1 FM because the Cardinals are going to be playing at the same time, but we certainly will have it on the big booming FM signal as the Billikens will take on Rhode Island in the Atlantic 10 tournament. Best of luck to you. Congratulations on the win over the Bonnies, and we look forward to hearing you on the radio here soon.
Thanks so much, Tom. Appreciate it.
Coach, great to hear from you. Travis Ford, head coach of the Billikens, with us on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday morning. We will take a quick timeout. When we come back, more college basketball. We will look into what happened at Arch Madness yesterday, and I also we'll hear a little bit of the Blues as well after their win, but their loss yesterday to the Rangers, and they're what I think kind of fading from the playoff race. But I do want to take your phone calls on Cardinals as well. Drew, let's open up the phone lines at 314-436-7900, because I don't know how much opportunity we're going to have in the back half of the 11 hour to do it. 314-436-7900. That's 314-436-7900, 800-925-1120 on KMOX.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-514-1020. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Come see our waterfront in Wild Horse Village in the new downtown Chesterfield. You have to see it to believe it, and then you will understand why it is the fastest selling luxury community in all of St. Louis. Our unique modern designs are like nothing St. Louis has seen. Only a handful of home sites remain. Experience the ultimate lifestyle at the waterfront. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today. Hurry before you miss this opportunity.
A happy place comes in many colors. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. During our spring sales event, get $250 off any home painting project, $2,500 or more, scheduled before April 30th. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Dell Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Dell's team live in St. Louis 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, April 27th and 28th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
There are times where high standards are vital. For example, your football team wouldn't let just anyone start at quarterback. And should you let just anyone give you guidance? We don't think so. In fact, at California Psychics, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. You see, we come from the home of free spirits and open minds. We're not short of spiritual believers or big dreamers. It's why we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. California Psychics connect you with the very best, so we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So, there's never been a better time to give our services a try. That sounds like a touchdown to me. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Jupiter. Cardinal baseball coming your way at 12:10 as the Cardinals take on the Marlins at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. We just had Travis Ford on the show. He is getting ready to take his team to practice. He is in New York at the Atlantic 10 tournament as the Billikens take on Rhode Island. It will be interesting to see what the coaching status ends up being for Ford. He is under contract with the Billikens. That is not obviously for him to decide. This is something that St. Louis University and their supporting group will make a decision on when it comes to it, just like every coach has decision time, like Dana Ford. He was just let go by Missouri State. At my alma mater, Indiana University, it does appear that Mike Woodson, as it was reported last week, is going to be staying there. This is the time of year where all coaches face this. All they can do is bear down and coach their team. And he does have a game on Tuesday at 3:30 against Rhode Island. We'll find out sooner than later about what is next for him. Dana Ford has been let go by Missouri State. Brian Mullins has been let go by Southern Illinois. The announcement today by Missouri State was that Ford was let go. This is the quote from Kyle Motes, the athletic director. Dana has been an amazing role model for our players and a great ambassador for our university and our program. Likewise, he has given so much of his time in support of youth programs, charities, and other community endeavors. That's why the decision was not easy. He says, I want to thank Coach Ford and his staff for their hard work and professionalism during their tenure at Missouri State. So a national search is underway to find the new coach at Missouri State. Southern Illinois is in the middle of a search as well, and there will be more. This coaching carousel is going to be fast and furious once these teams' seasons come to an end. Missouri State was ousted from March Madness by Indiana State. Southern Illinois was upset by UIC, Illinois-Chicago, in double overtime of the first round of Arch Madness for them. So that was the end of Brian Mullins there, which is a tough one. I mean, Mullins was a Saluki as much as anybody. He played for those very highly successful Saluki teams in the early 2000s. He was an assistant coach with Porter Moser at Loyola, got the job at SIU. That tough, strong defense, won a lot of games there. But is the offense to where the Saluki program wants it? And with players like Lance Jones and Marcus Damask succeeding elsewhere, Purdue and Illinois respectively, fans, boosters probably looking at that and saying, well, why couldn't that happen at SIU? Why we had Jones and Damask and Xavier Johnson all at once. So if we have X and Damask and Jones, why aren't we scoring points and why are they succeeding elsewhere? Well, they have great players around them, for one, but two, it was a question of Mullins' ability to get offense. We knew that his defense was going to be fierce, but could he have a consistent offense? Well, he will find another job. There's no doubt about that. But I do feel bad when those things happen to families like Dana Ford. He's a good man. Ford is going to be looking for work as well. And it had a great tenacity about him, but they got a lot of things going on at Missouri State. They don't draw well. They don't have students to the game. He just was not able to jumpstart the program like it was hoped. And Missouri State, once a very strong men's basketball program, has gone downhill. So they're going to try to get that thing going with a new coach. That is not easy. It does come down to coaching, but it comes down to players. You've got to get the players. And in the NIL space, you have to rally the collective and the people who are contributing to the collective and give them hope. That is really what it comes down to. You've got to stoke the fire when it comes to NIL in this business. Indiana State, by the way, is on fire right now. They won 94-72 over Northern Iowa. They are an NCAA tournament team, win or lose today against Drake, and so is Drake. Drake should be also. They won. They beat Bradley 72-67. They move on to Arch Madness final today, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal game today. I do think that Indiana State will win it, but if they do not and Drake wins, there is no question the Sycamores are a tournament team. They're 28-5. You better hope they don't land in your region because they'll run somebody. I mean, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robbie Avila as their setter, and he embraces the nickname, and 4 tremendous guards in Julian Larry, Ryan Conwell, Isaiah Swope, and the 6'8 Jason Kent, who can cut and get to the basket and rebound as well as anybody. They are going to be a problem. The only teams that could slow down Indiana State potentially would be if they have big athletic bigs. Big post players could wear down Avila. And then you become a bigger, faster team potentially and wear the entire team down. But you've got to keep up with those 4 guards who can shoot the lights out. And by the way, they roll off the bench Xavier Bledson, who can shoot the lights out, and he's a great passer. That is a tough team to deal with. Josh Schertz has that thing going big time right now at Indiana State. Let's take a phone call or two, shall we? 314-436-7900, 800-925-1120. Cardinals playing today against the Marlins. Craig, you are on KMOX. Welcome to Jupiter, Florida. How are you?
Yeah, good. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Hey, Tom, I have to say I took the weekend to try to get into the Cardinals, listened to the game Friday night on KMOX, and then watched yesterday. And to say it was a disappointment is to put it mildly. I keep – it's exciting to see the young shortstop, Jordan Walker, but beyond that, wow, man, it is tough. I'm just curious, where they go from here, and you hear the injuries. What if you gave both an optimistic point of view? I'd love to hear yours. And last question, Trevor Bauer, is he even a possibility, or can you explain that situation?
Yeah, gladly. Yeah. Thank you very much for the call. And I'm going to try to be optimistic here, but I'll also be realistic when I talk about the Cardinals here in just a second after I answer Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer was a great pitcher and could still be, although we haven't seen him face major league pitching in a while. And if he is going to be invited by a team, I'd be very curious who that is. The issue that he went through some legal challenges and he beat it. It was, he was accused of some pretty serious accusations in the area of assault. He got through those, but I think that the teams out there aren't clamoring for Bauer because I'm not sure that they want the extra baggage, headache, attention. I think they just want to get out there and go to the next guy. And, Trevor Bauer has a lot of talent, but I think there are still some questions, and it just seems like teams by and large are avoiding it. I mean, he would have been signed by now by somebody, I would think, to at least give him a look. So it's not just the Cardinals. I mean, he hasn't received an invite from anybody. So we'll see where it goes for him and if he ends up landing with somebody. As for the Cardinals, now the Cardinals have a roster that is capable of winning the division when healthy. But if Sonny Gray is not pitching for them, I've got them right now as the second or third best, at best, team in the NL Central, with the Reds being number 1. I think that the Cubs and the Cardinals will be fighting for second place for now. I think out of the gate, the Reds to me are exciting. They do have young pitching, and if it comes through, I think they could be really good. Now, that's not to say that the Cardinals couldn't be the factor when it comes down to September and October and take this division. But if I'm being honest and I'm looking at it right now, I've got the Reds ahead of them for now. With the Cubs, interesting, but I'm not sure the Cubs did enough. They've got a great manager, and he's able to work with a lot of great stuff. He's done that before, Craig Counsell. But I don't see the Cubs as the clear cut. And the Cardinals, without Gray, if he's not starting for them, Nootbaar and Edman being out, that's 2/3 of your outfield. if you're being honest with yourself, you're saying the Cardinals are a work in progress trying to get back to full health. And then if you get to the trade deadline and you are in contention, which they will be in the division, they're not going to be what they were last year. They're not going 10-24. I mean, they're going to be in the mix by the trade deadline. Then you drop the hammer. And that's when one of those teams, the Reds, the Cubs, and the Cardinals, will separate themselves. I'm not sure that the Reds have the resources to go make an earth-shaking trade at the deadline. Maybe, but I'm not sure that they do. The Cubs might, but I'm confused by the Cubs. I mean, they could have gone out and gone wild in this offseason and taken the Central, but they don't do it. And do the Cardinals have the resources? Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. They have money. They have prospects. It's just a matter of, do they want to? And how do they view the coming years? And the Cardinals always want to make sure that they have the proper depth, that they're not giving away prospects, and that they don't spend their money wildly. They're not giving out 8-year contracts for pitchers, things like that. They are going to be very smart in how they do that. But I think that if they want to, at the trade deadline, they could make the deal to put the pitcher that the Cardinals need with Sonny Gray to take them over the top. And that's how I see it. It's a 3-team race with the Reds coming out of the gate faster. Cardinals are going to have a challenge here. I mean, they got to play the Dodgers 4 times and the Padres 3 times before they even start the season at home. And there are no pushovers that entire month, really. I mean, the Marlins are not bad. They've got the Phillies on the schedule. They've got the Diamondbacks for 4. They went to the World Series, if you remember. They do have the A's that they get to play around with, but the Brewers are always a pain in the neck, and then they get the Diamondbacks again. Not to mention the Mets on the road. So it will not be an easy April for them, but they'll have to get off to a really good start. Let's take Lydia. Is Lydia on the phone? Oh, my gosh. Lydia, how you doing?
I am doing great, Tom. Thanks so much for taking my call.
It is so good to hear your voice. How are you, and what's on your mind today?
Doing great. Yes. So I was calling in regards to Sonny Gray. Obviously, now that he's hurt, it sounds like, unfortunately, he may not be able to start opening day. So my question for you is, based on the pitching performances that we've seen thus far this spring, who would you want to see as our opening day starter?
Awesome question. Miles Michaelis, he has the most experience, and I think he'd love to have a little redemption after last year. It was a shame what happened last year with the World Baseball Classic. They didn't use Miles hardly at all on Team USA. I'm sure it's an honor to play for USA and all that stuff and be with your boys, but you know, the World Baseball Classic did the Cardinals no favors. And Michaelis, not only is he not here in Jupiter, but he's not pitching. And so when he started that opening game last year, it was like spring training. I mean, he needs more starts than that to get ready for the regular season. So I felt like he was behind. He got blown up early, if you recall. And I think that he comes back and has a strong year this year. And I think he takes the ball on opening day if Gray cannot. Then you have Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn backing him up, and Steven Matz, who is motivated in this rotation. I really think the guy to watch here is Zach Thompson. I think that Thompson has the stuff to be a big league starter. He has the swing and miss stuff. He's added a changeup. His curveball has a little more zip on it. Still has a great fastball. He can blow by you. He's a lefty. He's an athlete. And, you know, don't be fooled by his calm, friendly demeanor. This guy is a competitor, and he wants to be in this rotation. And now the door is open for him to do so. So I do not discount Zach Thompson, folks, when you're looking at the Cardinals starting rotation and success. George, let's go to you on KMOX. If you want to join in, you can. 314-436-7900, 800-925-1120. We're live from Jupiter. How are you, George?
I'm doing fine, Tom. Thanks for taking this call. I'm afraid I'm not so optimistic as your slightly optimistic preview of our St. Louis Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals did much during the off season. I don't know much about Sonny Gray, and it's obviously a shame when you get hurt. But a pitcher gets hurt more than, I mean, just the throwing motion. You're apt to get hurt. Okay, So with that said, they brought in, and God bless Lance Lynn. He was a good pitcher, solid pitcher when we had him, but we let him go. That was how many years ago? Now we bring him back, and that's our answer. Okay, Matt Carpenter, a solid citizen, great person, but his career is done. Okay, the shortstop, he hasn't proven himself. We got a lot of big holes. If we don't have Arenado and Goldschmidt come back to the way they were used to playing, we're headed for a worse season because we've done nothing. Now, the Cardinals might have the resources to do something. They just don't do it. And St. Louis is winning baseball. We're not like a lot of other towns. And they say we're the baseball town. Well, the baseball town wants to win, and they're not putting a winning product. I don't understand what's the purpose of bringing this guy in from Boston, the executive. What is he going to do?
Okay, let me address all of those things, George. Good stuff, actually. I really like the breakdown. I don't totally agree with you, but it's okay. I'm not painting a rosy picture about this team. I hope not. It doesn't come off that way. But I will say this. You should know more about Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is one of the best pitchers in baseball. I would put him top 10 in all of baseball as a starting pitcher. No kidding. You give me 10 starting pitchers, 10 that are better than Sonny Gray when healthy. But that is the big question here. He is not healthy. A hamstring strain is not a slight injury. This is a tear in the hamstring, and it can take a long time to come back from. So this is, and I'm going to take a break after I address all these things that George just brought up, Drew. So I'm going to take a break here. But Gray is signed for 3 years, $75 million. That is a significant investment. $25 million a year for Sonny Gray. He is a legitimate 1 or 2. Don't tell me that he's not an ace. I know you didn't, but he is an ace. He is a legitimate starting pitcher in this game. He has proven himself. He was number 2 in the Cy Young Award in the American League. We will not discount that. However, if he is not healthy, it is a huge problem because the Cardinals don't have a rotation of aces here. They have innings eaters. They brought in Lance Lynn to eat innings, plain and simple. He is someone they're familiar with, and they think on a 1-year deal that they can bring him back and see if he has anything left in the tank. He throws fastballs. He can throw them hard. He can still bring velocity, change speeds a little bit, and the look and deception. That's what he's going to try to do, is get you to swing and miss, make contact, and make feeble contact, and get through these games, get through 6 innings. That's what they need. They have to have innings. They cannot do what they did last year, have starters go 3-4 innings, and then the bullpen gets burned out, and the offense ends up putting way too much pressure on themselves. Matt Carpenter is the 26th man on the roster. That's all he is. He'll come off the bench. Occasionally he'll play first base for Goldie. But if he can't hit, I don't have a spot for him. So he's going to have to hit. He did hit a home run recently. But right now there are some players that are going to be missing, I think, on opening day. So he'll have a spot. But it's not like he's brought in to solve the Cardinals in 24. I mean, they brought him in as the league minimum to see if he has anything left. Mason Wynn is one of the future pieces of this team. George, I would highly recommend that you grow with Mason Wynn. He is a super athlete and a very, very good player who just needs more ABs at this level to show what he can do. At shortstop, he's a big leaguer right now. Arenado and Goldie, I agree with you. They have to be good for the Cardinals to be good. If they are not, this is going to be a rough season. Arenado and Goldie have to be at MVP levels or knocking on the door of that, all-star levels. They will not have a worse season than last year. You can go back and listen to this tape at the end of the year. If they are worse than 71 and 91, there are real problems around here. They will not be that. And Chaim Bloom is brought in to oversee because you need a new set of eyes just to give some opinions. He has earned that. Very good with the Rays. Didn't get the Red Sox to where they wanted, but he's a young guy that they respect. We'll take a break. We'll come back more from Jupiter, Florida, the home of the Cardinals in spring training. Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
What keeps you up at night? If it's a new diagnosis or an aging parent or just being home alone, our St. Louis-based ACM Care can help. Their RNs will listen to you, advocate for you, and get you through this. ACM Care is a nonprofit based right here in St. Louis. They've been helping St. Louisans for over 24 years, and they want to help you too. The first call is free. You can reach them at 314-293-0697 or acmcare.org or Google them. ACM Care will get you care.
Question: are you a maintain it before it breaks person or a wait for a problem person? Get ahead of the game or just see what happens type? Well, if you're the practical, forward-thinking sort, then get this. For a limited time, the rock-solid fix-it-right guys at Jerry Kelly will come tune up and inspect your furnace for just $98. It's normally $143, and that's very little money for a lot of peace of mind. Check it out now at JerryKelly.com.
It says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah. We support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back, Sports on a Sunday morning. Great questions from Craig, Lydia, and George in our call-in segment. I really appreciate that. I love the opportunity to take phone calls, and maybe we can sneak in some more after John Mozeliak. If I don't ask him, I should ask him all the questions that you want. So I'll run through a number of topics with him in our allotted time at 11:30 Central. But maybe I'll take a few phone calls, Drew, after that before we get to Cardinal baseball. We need to be off the air by noon, which we always are, and we'll get right to Cardinals at 12:10 for the first pitch today. Cardinals are the road team today, taking on the Marlins in this facility. That means the Marlins are selling the tickets. I wonder how many Cardinals fans grabbed those Marlins tickets. Probably a ton. There are a lot of spring breakers down here. We have just a couple of minutes left. I don't have much to say about the Blues, honestly. They lost 4-0 to the Rangers at the Garden. The Blues are an okay hockey team. I mean, they just don't have the firepower. I mean, Jordan Binnington, if he doesn't make 40 saves in Philadelphia, they lose that one also. You know, they're just not a great hockey team. And they didn't – one telling thing is they didn't do anything at the deadline. You know, teams that think they are contenders and can win the cup are going to be moving and shaking at the deadline. They didn't do that. In fact, they were going to probably do the opposite, sell off some pieces to grow for the future. They are continuing to grow. That's what they want to do with the Blues, try to grow a core and try to deal with what has been some hefty contracts for Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou and work around those. Thomas has absolutely flourished into a terrific two-way player. I think the jury is still out on Kyrou, although he has great offensive skill. I prefer the Pavlo Buchnevic's. These are the type of players that I really like, and I think that he'll be rewarded. I hope that he's rewarded. I'd love to see him around for a while, and I love Jake Neighbors. Oh, man. He's a good player, and I love the way that he gets after it. We have so much to do here at Jupiter's spring training home of the Cardinals, Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. We have Lutz Pfannenstiel, the sporting director for St. Louis City SC, next hour. We have John Mozeliak next hour. He'll be with us as well. That's at 11:30. Lutz is at 11:15. I'll take a few more phone calls. We'll talk some more ball. I love talking baseball, so let's do that next hour as much as we can, and maybe I can get a couple of scoops around here about the team and some of these injuries that are being rehabbed. Lydia had a question she wants me to answer. What about Jordan Montgomery? Would the Cardinals be interested in signing him if Gray is not ready? How about this, Lydia? I will answer that after the 11 o'clock news on KMOX.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Monica Ricks.
Immigration is a huge concern among voters heading into the November election, and it was a big part of President Biden's State of the Union address last week. But Congress is still butting heads over bills to get aid to allies and beef up southern border security. Oklahoma Republican James Langford talked about it this morning on CNN.
Would have hired all those additional agents. It would have expedited the process. The only way to be able to solve this problem right now legally is to be able to change the asylum standard and to be able to have much faster hearings. The problem is the president also left out some of the things that he could do. Right now, he's choosing not to do.
An aid bill has passed in the Senate. It's stalled in the House. Meantime, President Biden is apologizing for comments he made last week on the border crisis.
And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect.
That's Biden on MSNBC. Both he and former President Trump campaigned this weekend in Georgia. U.S. equipment is on its way to Gaza now to help build a temporary pier for humanitarian aid. CBS's Linda Kenyon has details.
U.S. Central Command says a logistics support vessel has embarked for the Eastern Mediterranean carrying construction supplies. In his State of the Union address, President Biden announced the project, saying it was crucial toward the effort to help innocent Palestinian civilians caught in the crossfire in Gaza. Building the pier is one thing, but humanitarian supplies must still be offloaded onto trucks and then brought directly into Gaza. And that's why the U.S. has been urging Israel to expand entry points to allow more trucks inside.
The U.S. has also made 5 airdrops so far. The latest yesterday delivered 41,000 meals and 23,000 water bottles to northern Gaza. The Justice Department is now investigating Boeing over its panel blowout on an Alaskan Airlines flight back in January. Todd Curtis is with airsafe.com.
Just because the DOJ is involved at this level at this time does not change the safety investigation that's being done by the NTSB. The NTSB is completely separate from the legal process when it comes to investigating an accident. And unless the Department of Justice or the FBI takes over the investigation, the NTSB will still lead this investigation.
Oppenheimer could blow away the competition tonight at the Oscars.
There's a chance that when we push that button, we destroy the world.
Maybe wishful thinking, but the blockbuster has 13 nominations and could tie a record for the most wins at the show. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have sunny skies and 44 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, an outburst following the Daniel Riley verdict this week leads to a felony charge. 34-year-old Eric Bunton of Madison faces a count of tampering with a judicial officer. Fox 2 reports from court documents that Bunton exclaimed something in the courtroom, then went into the hallway. There, a sheriff's deputy heard him call the judge and jury racists and said that if they came outside, he would kill them. Bunton's being held without bond. He already has felony cases in Illinois for harassment and drug possession. Riley was found guilty on 4 counts for the crash a year ago that took the legs of Janae Edmondson. As part of International Women's Day, Congresswoman Cori Bush joined with other House Democrats to discuss in vitro fertilization and abortion rights. Bush told CNN's Caitlin Collins,
there should not be white men in red states telling people across this country, telling women and pregnant folks across this country what we can do with our own bodies.
Elsewhere, Teamsters walking the picket line at Graybar's headquarters in St. Louis County got a visit yesterday from U.S. Senator Josh Hawley. The Missouri Republican posted on social media he feels striking union members deserve a fair wage and equal treatment. Local 688 has been on strike since late last month. There's a freeze on rescues at a local animal shelter.
Stray Rescue of St. Louis CEO Cassidy Caldwell posted on social media Saturday that until 20 or more spots open up, they won't be able to take in any more animals. She says they have more than 200 puppies looking for homes and they're out of space. She's asking that people fill out a foster parent application online and get approved to come down and help out the situation. Stray Rescue is located on Pine Street in downtown West. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Your weather forecast, lots of sun this afternoon. Temperatures getting a little bit warmer than they are now. Low 37 tonight, then warming up considerably tomorrow. 70 on Monday, 72 on Tuesday, 75 Wednesday and Thursday. Mostly a mix of clouds and sun, but lots of sunshine. 44 right now in St. Peter's, same in Florissant, and we have the same downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Jupiter, Cardinal Spring Training Home. Tom Ackerman, indeed, with you, looking at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. We had a little rain threat around here earlier, but things have calmed down since then, and it looks like we're going to get a ball game in today, 12-10, Cards and Marlins. Ricky Horton and Mike Claiborne will have it for you from this ballpark. Cardinals are actually the road team today, and they'll be taking on a Marlins team with this lineup. Here's what the Cardinals are going to throw at him. Victor Scott leading off and playing center field. Paul Goldschmidt is the DH batting second. Nolan Gorman, the second baseman, bats third. Nolan Arenado is the third baseman batting fourth. Matt Carpenter will play first base today. He bats fifth. Jordan Walker in right field batting sixth. Alec Burleson is the left fielder batting seventh. He's looked pretty good out there, actually. Ivan Herrera is the catcher batting eighth. Mason Wynn is your shortstop batting ninth. Gordon Graceffo is listed as the opener for this game. Also coming out of the bullpen will be Drew Rom, who was originally scheduled to be the starter. We'll see what they do, but according to their official lineup card, it is Graceffo who will take the ball first. Again, the Cardinals will bat first because they are the visitors today in their own ballpark. The Marlins, who share this facility, will get that thing going at 12:10 on KMOX. Let's get back into calls, although, David, hang on the line for just a second because I want to answer Lydia's question. She sent in an additional text about Jordan Montgomery and whether the Cardinals would pursue him. I don't think so. It would be probably way out of their character not only to do it, but to do it when Sonny Gray just strained his hamstring a few days ago. I think that if this was something where a pitcher went down because of Tommy John or was going to miss the season or miss a huge portion of the season for any reason, then I do think the Cardinals would look around. Maybe not Montgomery or Snell, but for somebody that they could trade for or acquire some depth, a major league ready pitcher that they could throw into the rotation. I don't see that here. I think Zach Thompson's the next man up. If Gray can't go, I think Michaelis would become the opening day starter. And then you'd have the Gibson Lynn, Matt's experienced trio with the young guy Thompson in there. It's a decent rotation that could carry you for a little while, but you're not going anywhere without Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is the piece that they added in the offseason to get them back to what they want to be, a team that is in contention. And then again, when they get to the deadline, that's when you strike for a co-ace, and then you go after a playoff spot, and that's your game 1 and 2 starter. So in a perfect scenario, that's, I think, where the Cardinals are right now. David, you're on. And by the way, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell, this is a long, drawn-out process. Monty, as you know, is a Scott Boras client, and Boras has dragged these things out. He is looking for shorter term with opt-outs available, but the problem is, Zach Wheeler just signed for, $42 million a year with the Phillies? I mean, the Cardinals aren't going to do that. They're not going to throw $42 million at a pitcher when they have $25 million a year on the books for Sonny Gray. David, you're on KMOX. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Tom?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I'm just going to piggyback maybe a little off this Monty Snell thing. Not really why they won't or what they will. I just want your opinion. Why does it seem like there's such a disconnect between the urgency of what the fans feel and what it seems front office and the ownership feels, specifically on what they may need, what they have? When you look at Sonny Gray going down short term right now, but I think it amplifies what this rotation may look like long term if something more drastic were to happen. And throughout the offseason, we've heard multiple reasons why they won't go out and get another top-end starting pitcher. First reason was they don't want to commit long-term dollars. And now when long-term dollars may not be needed, it's, well, we don't want to approach the CBT, when in reality there's likely contracts that can be moved that may be more valuable than a lot of people might think, like, for example, Steven Matz. And I'm not going to say we need to trade Steven Matz. I'm just saying it seems like to be a lot of excuses to not do so. So just your opinion kind of on that overall spectrum of question.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I'm glad you said ownership, because it does start at the top, and Bill DeWitt Jr. wants to have a franchise that is competitive every year. This is what he wants. He wants a franchise that's competitive every year. Do they ride their history and tradition? Absolutely. That is part of the appeal of being a Cardinals fan, is that you share memories with each other of their greatness. And they do not, I mean, it really hurt them to be 71 and 91 and having to basically call it a season in June. They don't want to ever have to repeat that again. But they are not willing to go drop the hammer with the possibility that these contracts could backfire and then they end up having to tank. They will not do it. And that is Bill DeWitt to a T. You know, he wants to run the business. He does not want to lose. He is a owner who has won a lot, and he is used to winning, and he wants people coming through the turnstiles. He wants to sell you hope for sure, but he doesn't want, I don't think, to have a franchise that is on a losing track. And I don't think the Cardinals are. I think they're a good franchise that is right there in the hunt, but they're not going to go crazy. And I get what you're saying. I mean, fans want them to spend. They want them to go wild. They want them to be, maybe not the Dodgers, I think that's unrealistic, but to be like a big market team. And they aren't. You know, they don't have the TV revenue, some of the marketing revenue that the big market teams enjoy. They do have a strong franchise and a lot of money. He has a lot of money, Mr. DeWitt. And John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, who we will talk to here at 11:30, has a wonderful relationship and partnership with Bill DeWitt in that he carries out exactly what ownership wants to do. And he does it very well in their eyes. And he has, by the way, he does more than just trade and sign free agents. He runs this entire baseball operation. He is overseeing the minor league organization. His job is to grow this team from within and then use the resources and recommendation to the ownership to go out how to spend their money wisely, not overspend. It comes from ownership. He is not Steve Cohen. You know, they don't just start throwing checks right and left. That is how they want it, and that's how the Cardinals have been for a long time, actually. I can't remember when the Cardinals ever were a team that just did spend. I mean, that 1 year in 2000 when they acquired all those free agents and players during trade, and it was around this time that they swooped in and got Jim Edmonds for Kent Bottenfield and Adam Kennedy, and that turned out to be a really good trade for them. But, you know, they've made earth-shattering deals for Arenado and Goldschmidt, I would say. Those were big head turners. But normally they don't go out and just throw money around. I can't remember the last time they did, if ever. You know, so it's just how it is. And that's how the Cardinals want to be. They want to be a playoff team every year and then go out and try to win a championship. It worked in 2006. It worked in 2011. It almost worked, you know, for a team like the Diamondbacks, but you can't just count on good luck all the time or, you know, good young players all playing well at once. You do have to have a balance. And I think they believe very strongly in Arenado and Goldschmidt that they're going to have great years. I think they think their pitching can hold it down for a while. And then maybe they make a move at the deadline and maybe these young players move ahead another step, Walker, Wynn, Gorman, etc., and take them to another level. But it does all have to happen at once. So that's how you win championships, when everything goes your way and you stay healthy. When we come back, Lutz Fannin Steel Sporting Director, St. Louis City SC, joins us. It's Sports on a Sunday Morning, coming to you live from Jupiter, Florida on KMOX.
You've heard the stories. Social Security will run short on funding in less than 10 years. What does that mean for your retirement? Will your check be cut back? Will it even be there? At the All Financial Group, we're meeting the Social Security income problem head on. We're not just going to sit around and wait to see what happens. We look at things that could happen and develop a plan for them before they do. Join Steve All in the All Financial Group for an exclusive educational event focusing on Social Security. It's going to be at our brand new office space on Wednesday, March 13th. Seats are limited and filling up fast. RSVP today, 203-872-0009. That's 203-872-0009. More details at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services are made available through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor the agents or the representatives may give tax or legal advice. All Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Crazy times we're in, especially this year with all the crap we have to listen to during this political season. At least you have a break in your day and you can hear me. All kidding aside, the prices are absolutely, without a question, the worst I've ever seen across the board on everyday products. And now you add in government mandates for air conditioning and furnaces. This is the best time this month to still get good pricing on great, efficient equipment that will save your money by simply replacing your old, inefficient equipment. Plus, 0% for 60 months. No interest. Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, and there's only one. 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Dell Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Dell's team live in St. Louis 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac. Saturday and Sunday, April 27th and 28th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
Let's Save Lives. An introduction to suicide prevention in the Black community is an education program designed by and for the Black community, fostering connection and communication around mental health. To learn how you can encourage help seeking and play a role in saving lives in your community, reach out to your local chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention at afsp.org/chapters. AFSP is an I'm Listening partner. Learn more at imlistening.org and on the Odyssey app.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Back Ostrock, thread down Totland into the area, into the end line. He chips across back, turns to the back of the box. Pompey fires a shot. He scores! Oh, baby! He's the man! Third minute! Sergio Pompey ties it in deuces. Oh, how about that?
How about it indeed? St. Louis City SC gets the job done. They have a 2-2 draw with Austin FC, and they are off and running in the 2024 MLS season. Tom Ackerman back with you from Jupiter, Florida, the spring training home of the St. Louis Cardinals, and we are joined on the line by the sporting director for St. Louis City SC. Lutz Pfannenstiel is with us on KMOX. Good morning, Lutz.
Good morning, Tom.
Well, the 1975 St. Louis Football Cardinals were nicknamed the Cardiac Cards. 8 of their games were decided in the final minute of play, Lutz. Back in the day, our longtime listeners know who they are. We need a nickname for your team. You are pulling rabbits out of the hat. That was a phenomenal finish to the game yesterday against Austin.
Yeah, it was a tough start. The first 15, 20 minutes, it was difficult to get into the game. Going 1-0 down, I think we had a good reaction in general, played especially the second half really well, created lots of chances to score, didn't take them. And then he took some special moments. And in the 93rd minute, just basically directly at the dead end, we pulled that one out, and getting a point on the road against a good footballing team like Austin, definitely, a great result. In the end of the day, we played well enough maybe to pick up even more, but we can't complain. Let's just put that one in the piggy bank, that point, and walk away smiling.
You bet. They get the win, and Austin scored first, and then you were able to get the equalizer. How big a goal was that for Edward Leuven in the 49th minute?
Edu had two big chances in the first half. One hit the post, which very questionable. I mean, we believe it might have been behind the line, but it's difficult to see, difficult to tell. And then I think it was really important for Edu, who played a good game, to open his account this season, very calm from the penalty. So brought us right back into the game, and it was great for Edu after being in Germany for his green card process, missing out for like 10 days or even a bit longer at preseason. Like he's now back to his normal shape and really like being our engine, our motor in the middle.
Yeah, Leuven has now scored all 4 penalty kicks he has taken in league play, and St. Louis City SC has come from behind twice so far this season to earn a point. The first against Real Salt Lake in the opener when Sam Adeniran scored the equalizer in the 79th minute against Austin, and then Pompeo scored the leveler in the in stoppage time. This was a lot of fun last night, and I know, again, a tough environment. You go down to Austin and get the job done. Pompeo now has 4 goals and 5 assists for City across all competitions over the past 2 seasons. You're unbeaten in the league. Here we go again. I know we talk about this, and I don't know how much you pay attention to outside noise, but I'm certain that people looked at City and said, that was great. Great 23. Let's see them do it again. And here you are, 3rd in the Western Conference. They're looking at you in the rearview mirror, I think, the top 2 teams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the way all the games went so far, nothing was easy. We need to work really hard to pick up all our points, and the mentality of the team, I think, is our big plus here, because we never give up. We're always out there going 1 goal down. Nobody puts their head down. There is always lots of energy coming from the bench. We had again yesterday lots of changes after 60 minutes and later on, which completely changed the energy on the field. Which just proves to us that our bench is just as good as the players who are starting the game. So we have always a good choice of players to make before the week, during the training week before the games. And I think mentality is the one thing, but also the intensity we kept yesterday again for 90 minutes. That's our big plus, that we really can go for 90 plus minutes and play our hearts out, play our body tired, really leave the tank empty. And then sometimes you reward yourself with a point like that late, Tom. And, it's only a draw. People will say it's only a draw, but it does feel a little bit like a win, because you're sitting back in the plane and you look at each other and you said it right. You got the job done. You picked something up in a difficult environment. Well, and it's on to the next game.
That's right. Lutz Pfannenstiel is with us. That is a big point to get. So now you have a win. You have 2 draws. And you're sitting there, as I mentioned, in 3rd place. You're also sitting there dealing with some injuries. I mean, aren't you? I mean, how are you health-wise overall? How would you view that?
I'm actually feeling pretty relaxed and relieved, because last week when we spoke, it was very different. We had pretty much a back line which was hurt, more like little things, but everybody's back now. Cal Hibbert was back on the bench yesterday, could have played. Josh Yarrow will be back this week in full training, so he's good to go. The only player which is still a question is Blom, and even there we make a good progress. So everybody's back on the field, and seeing after a long injury now, niggling injury, Rasmus Alm back on the field, playing in the last moments of the game, coming on, working so many months now hard on his sports hernia to be back. That's a big one for us, because he fits perfectly in our way of play. He pulls the guys up when there is a moment, and to have Rasmus Alm back is huge in the weeks to come.
Total team performance for St. Louis City SC, as they are able to pull out a point, 2-2. They play to a draw at Austin FC. And again, they have not lost a game yet. The CONCACAF Champions Cup was one thing. The Major League Soccer season is another. As we move forward with Lutz Pfannenstiel here from City, joining us for a couple more minutes on KMOX, we look at your schedule and, your matches ahead. You have the LA Galaxy on March 16th. You're going to be on the road for that one. Then you come home on the 23rd against DC United. Tell us about the Galaxy. Thus far, they have played 2 matches.
The Galaxy is kind of like the exact opposite of what we are. It's a team with lots of experience, also some older players, but they went shopping, Tom, I tell you, quite heavily this break. So I think they spent 8-9 million for one player, another 7 or 8, I think, or even over 10 million for another. So they did invest quite a bit of money. They have some flashy players, like Ricky Puig, which is a former Barcelona player. So it's individually a great team. It's a brilliant challenge for us to go there. I mean, just looking at the finances, we spend less than $1 million. They spend I think over 25. So that's a big difference. But we're not scared of Galaxy. We played them before. We just have to play our game, and that's I think exactly the challenge is what we love to do: to go out there, to be the underdog, to fight, to grind, and going to LA, which is a lot of Hollywood involved in the football there, and a lot of show factor and big names. I think that's the games we're really looking forward to. So our mind will be set on Galaxy, on Los Angeles the whole trainings week, and then flying out there on Friday and try to do our best to pick again, to stay unbeaten. Of course, that's the goal.
Yeah, that's fun. They actually, in their opener, played Inter Miami, and Inter Miami needed Messi to score in stoppage time to tie them. So that is a good challenge. By the way, Inter Miami is playing down here at 5 o'clock, Lutz. Do I go over there? I mean, I'm tempted. Maybe I should go down there and go see Messi.
I think you should. If you can somehow squeeze in the back door to get in there, I doubt it you will get a ticket. But if you can, I would try to use the press pass and get in, because how many times you get Messi to see Messi play? I mean, it's definitely the guy everybody talks about, arguably the best player of all time. So, I mean, if I would be you, or if I would be there now, I would try my luck.
Maybe I'll sneak down there. We'll see if I can get in there. It's a possibility. It's great to talk to you. Congratulations on the point yesterday. We'll catch up with you real soon.
Thanks. Have a nice Sunday, Tom.
Great to talk. You too. Great to talk to Lutz Pfannenstiel, St. Louis City SC's sporting director. That was a lot of fun. Great match last night against Austin FC. John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations. He is on deck. We give him a call next.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
You've got spring fever, ready to get outdoors, soak in the sun, barbecue, host get-togethers. Is your outdoor space ready? Did you make all those improvements you wanted to make? Time to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. With 56 years in the business and thousands of satisfied customers, Chesterfield Fence and Deck will do a quality job that will last for years to come. Fences, patios, decks, pergolas, retaining walls, screen rooms, sunrooms. Need some help putting it all together? Chesterfield Fence and Deck has free project design, free in-home estimates, or stop by their huge showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. As a customer of Chesterfield Fence and Deck myself, I can personally attest that my Eastern Cedar fence is almost a dozen years old and has far outlasted the other fences in my neighborhood. Because when you are choosing a company It's not just about price, it's about quality, top quality materials, experienced installers, and great customer service. Mention me, Debbie Monterey, and they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. ChesterfieldFence.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The people have spoken. I want to thank you, St. Louis, for voting Onder Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. Our attorneys will hold truck drivers and owners accountable. We stand up to big trucking companies to get you the compensation you deserve. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law today for a free review. 314 or 618-9000000. That's 314 or 618-9 all zeros.
Looks like it costs a fortune.
Actually, at Bob's, the Playscape 2-piece sectional is just $9.99.
Looks like it was crafted by a master carpenter.
Gorgeous, right? Bob's genuine marble elm dining set comes with 6 chairs or 4 chairs and a storage bench for just $9.99.
Looks like a unicorn cried happy tears all over it.
That's our bedazzled diva bedroom set. I can see why you think that. When the looks you love go for less, there's only one thing to say. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Longtime supporter of Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors is Razorback Armory, the gun concierge of St. Louis. If you are looking for something specific, maybe you need gunsmithing or gun repairs done, maybe you're looking for a suppressor, otherwise known as a silencer, Razorback Armory is the headquarters for that. Get into Razorback Armory for a great selection of Glock G19s and G19 MOS, and you'll get some Glock swag if you mention Bo Matthews when you head in to Razorback Armory. Get their address and more at RazorbackArmory.com.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Pass it on. You've heard it said, he's a diamond in the rough. Or maybe, diamonds are forever. Here's something else I've learned about diamonds. They're just pieces of coal put under pressure for a long, long, long time. So when I start feeling like I want to give up, I think about that little piece of coal. And if that piece of coal can make something of itself by not giving up, so can I. Persistence is in you. Pass it on. From PassItOn.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. Our studio is in Jupiter, Florida today. Sports on a Sunday morning coming to you from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, more specifically the Cardinals complex just across the street here on University. And we're joined by Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. Mo, thank you once again for the great accommodation over here. We appreciate being able to do shows here.
Oh, you're welcome. And maybe in the future, once we do the renovations here, it'll be even nicer.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it'd be great. I'm looking forward to it, and we love being able to do things here. Matt Pauley left yesterday. I came back in after spending a little time on the TV side, and I've seen a lot of the team already, and I really appreciate the depth of this team, and unfortunately, it turns out that you're going to need it, it looks like, dealing with some injuries. I thought we would get into that first, starting with Sonny Gray. What is the latest on your ace of your staff as we know it today?
Well, I would definitely say we're more encouraged than we were maybe a week ago on where he's at. So, fingers crossed that he can keep progressing, and we don't have an exact date when he might pitch yet, but we're certainly encouraged that he's responding well to treatment.
That's good. A hamstring strain, just so people understand, a strain is a slight tear. And so, you take a look at it and do all the examinations, and there is a cautious aspect to it. And so that timetable is still, up in the air, as you mentioned. So what do you do if it is an extended thing? Of course, you don't want it to be, but you have to prepare for it. How do you view the rotation moving forward if Sonny is not able to go?
Well, I do think, you have two guys competing for that spot right now, arguably three. You could say Thompson, Rom, and Livator are going to be stretched out. So we're going to definitely try to find innings for them in the meantime. But, I think you always have to have a plan B, C, and D. And so, you hate to be tested early, but that's part of camp.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at your other starters, just your thoughts on them, if we may. Lance Lynn pitched recently, and the ejection and all of that stuff aside, focusing more on what he was doing. I know he primarily throws fastballs. How did you like what you saw? And what do you think for Lance moving forward here after that first start?
Yeah, probably the most encouraging thing was his velocity, pitching at 91, 92, 93. That was great to see. I think, first time on the bump in a game. So, you're not going to be 100% perfect, but takeaways were good. I felt like, he has that velocity. If he has that, it definitely plays up. So that was great to see. And, I think in terms of, the getting ejected from that game was sort of unfortunate because, spring training games are all about getting yourself the work you need to prepare yourself for the season. And so, having that guy get cut short was not ideal, but it happened. And, he'll make the most of it moving forward.
Yeah, it is a training session down here. Just, so we remind everybody, including umpires, it is a training session here. I mean, these games are very public and we're watching them, but we're watching them practice is what we're doing against competition. So that was all part of it. As you mentioned, Kyle Gibson, a delightful guy. I mean, really, really like getting to know him. But, this is all about performance. And so far, what has he shown to you as you've acquired him to win, to gobble up innings for you as well?
Yeah, I would say don't read too much into performance yet. A lot of times these pitchers are specifically working on something, and of course they would like to get outs and have the game move along, but they are willing to sacrifice some pitches to work on pitches, and if that means ball four or you give up a hit, that happens. But having a strategy when you take the mound is something that the pitching coach and coaches want to see pitchers make sure they're working on. So when the season comes, they kind of know what to go with and what not to.
Absolutely. It's a good guide actually for fans down here or watching on TV or listening on the radio to know and just keep in the back of your mind that they're working on different things as they work through those lineups. And you keep that in mind with Steven Matz yesterday. Matz is a really good athlete. He's motivated, of course, to show you, John, and your entire office and staff that he can be durable for you. I know that's a huge focus for him, isn't it?
It is. And, again, it was his real first outing, getting that start. And I think the good news there is his arm looked healthy. He felt like he rebounded well today, which is encouraging. And so now it's about just getting the work in and finding that consistent point with your delivery and your pitches. And, still pretty optimistic with him just based on where he was a month ago to where he is today. So I do feel that's encouraging.
Your bullpen was really strong after him. Really good. He gave up 4 runs early. Robertson gave up those 4 late. But in between there were a whole bunch of zeros. I mean, you have accomplished so far what you set out to do. You went, especially on the right-handed side, grabbed a lot of guys who can throw strikes. Yes, they get swing and miss, but they're throwing strikes, aren't they?
Yeah, I think I think the bullpen, the competition is real. We have a lot of guys throwing the ball very, very well, and we'll see how this roster shakes out. But as you sit here and stare at it today, you definitely know there's going to be some tough decisions out the road.
For sure. When it comes to the outfield, I'm curious to get. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that. Of course, things have happened here recently. Nootbaar falls on his arm and has the displaced fractures. We know, of course, that Edman. I'm just wanted some clarification as to where Tommy is after that surgery. Gosh, that was in October. Our wrist is complicated. To completely understand that. Where is Tommy now in terms of his recovery, and how do you feel about Lars for the foreseeable future?
Starting with Tommy, he's going to go see one more specialist here and just make sure we're all in agreement on strategy and really approach. But, hopefully we can get him moving in the right direction here sooner rather than later. But I do think, opening day is definitely in doubt for him. And then Lars, it's really just as tolerated. So we'll just have to see how he feels, and we'll keep checking on him. But it's been a week. He feels a little better, but it's really more of a pain tolerance. And, for the first couple of weeks, you just want to make sure you don't have any real impact in that area. So that's why you don't see him on the field right now. And, from a swinging the bat standpoint, I can imagine it's a lot of discomfort, but hopefully in the next week to 10 days, that improves.
So what does that leave you in the outfield? Dylan Carlson. Of course, Jordan Walker is your one projected starter who is still out there in right field. Carlson, who can play all three. Alec Burleson is interesting. I think he's looked actually not bad defensively. And, of course, we all know he hits the ball hard. If a little luck, those batting averages would go up for him. How do you see Burley?
I think Burley's had a nice camp. He's going to get a lot of opportunity because you touched on it with Newton and Tommy not playing. There's going to be a lot of opportunity in this camp, and hopefully he can make the most of it. But I would say, based on where we are today, he's almost certainly on our club unless something dramatically odd happens.
Sure. And then Victor Scott, who gets the start today in center field. I think there isn't a person in this camp who isn't excited about Victor's prospects, but this is about playing time for him. If he were to play for you at this level, at the big league level, he'd have to be playing every day, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and I think, look, he's such an exciting player to watch. It's a combination of sort of that old world speedster type player and the modern world of a guy that can drive the ball into the gaps and out of the ballpark. So, I think the Cardinals are in a really good spot to have a player like him, and it's exciting to watch. But I do think we got to make sure we don't make decisions solely just on sort of knee-jerk reaction and allow him to continue to grow as a player. I think about where he was a year ago to where he is today. It's really just a meteoric rise in terms of how quickly he rose up to where he is. And I think that development is still very important.
And the development of Masyn Winn, as we start to wrap here with John Mozeliak, he blew us away in camp last year. You gave him that year in Memphis to really fine-tune some things, and he came back to the big leagues. How is spring training camp for Masyn Winn this time around?
I think it's different camp, right? I mean, last year he was here to open up eyes and get people to know who he was. This year he's coming in as the incumbent to be the starting shortstop. So a little bit different pressure, a little bit different expectations, but I think he's handling it well. I think he's a little frustrated with his offense right now, but look, he's a super talented young man. Obviously, we want him to be defense first, and then we'll take offense second. But just letting him know that he does not have to put too much pressure on himself and just try to relax and play his game.
Appreciate the breakdown this morning. Thanks for the time as always, and we will catch up with you real soon. I'll see you around the complex.
Thank you, Tommy. Be well.
Yes, sir. You too. John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, with us every Sunday at 11:30, schedule permitting, and most often he makes time for us to keep us up to date on everything that's going on around here, and we appreciate that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to leave you at noon for Cardinal baseball. Cardinals and Marlins today from right here at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Sports on a Sunday morning continues right after this.
It's almost time for your furnace to go to sleep and your air conditioner to kick in for a humid spring. Great time to call Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling for a checkup, preventative maintenance, or even system replacement. Comfort Solutions, with 30 years of experience, is a reputable, reliable, and knowledgeable Lennox dealer. Lennox, an outstanding brand for more than a century, but Comfort Solutions can repair any make or model, offering 24-hour service, nights and weekends, and free estimates. It's ComfortSolutionsSTL.com or call 314-968-9900.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, and other unsecured debt. If you're struggling to make monthly payments, there are special services that can significantly reduce what you pay each month by 40% or more. If you qualify, you could save hundreds of dollars each month. Most people don't know that these services are available right now to help American consumers with overwhelming credit card debt get significant savings and immediate financial relief without filing bankruptcy. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you may qualify for. They've helped consumers pay off over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times.
For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-204-9400. 800-204-9400. That's 800-204-9400. Program and services not available in all states.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Come check out our new LaSalle display and our final phase of Inverness at Bryan and Feisey Road in Dardenne Prairie. We will build to order or select from one of our designer market homes ready to move in at substantial savings, including our luxurious former display home. This professionally decorated ranch is loaded with features and has over $100,000 in savings. Plus, get special financing starting in the 4s. Hurry to take advantage of these deals. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
KMOX's Kegs and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, returns to 7th Street in downtown St. Louis before the home opener Thursday, April 4th. Tickets on sale now and include drinks from the Budweiser family of products, food from Sugar Fire, specialty drinks from the likes of Maker's Mark and Hornitos, a live broadcast, appearances from local celebrities, courtesy of Rally House, and so much more. Kegs and Eggs. Get your tickets now at KMOX.com/events.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at yourheartcomesfirst.com. That's yourheartcomesfirst.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Clutter and junk have got you cornered.
Every time you turn around, there's more than there was before.
You barely have room to move.
You're so crowded, it's hard to breathe.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point. Now you breathe fresh air. Freedom.
Now you've got the breath to sing.
Now you've got the space to entertain.
Now you've got a big home.
A happy home.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Tom Ackerman back with you from Jupiter, Florida. We are live. Drew, this is unbelievable, this stream. What the heck happened today? Why is this so popular? It is awesome. I mean, I'm not complaining at all. We've had everything has been great. Where are we, Drew? You can jump on. Where are we on? Oh, 822 is what I have. Is that right?
So
currently watching the Twitter stream?
Yeah, so total that's just on Twitter, but total right now is 835. So we appreciate the listeners.
Wait, so everyone's on Twitter? This is
the majority, yeah.
Majority are on Twitter.
Couple on YouTube.
I mean, it's okay. That's good, but yeah, the numbers are still high. Like we've sustained a really big number there tuning in, which I really appreciate. So you know, it's fun when you sustain that kind of a number throughout the show. That means the actual total will skyrocket because people kind of come in and out of this show. They don't typically stay for the full 2 hours. And we're just talking about this is kind of inside baseball here on streaming, but the streaming numbers, the cool thing about streaming this is just the video stream, folks, that we're talking about here, is that when we get a high number of video stream like that starts to get the attention of our bosses. And when that happens, then they start to pay attention to the video stream even more. And then who knows where this show could go? I don't know. I mean, that's big stuff. So the number's going up the more I talk about it. in real time. So these videos, so what happens is people sample in and out, but if you sustain a number of 800 viewers at a time and keep it going, the number is in the thousands for the show. So, I mean, like tens of thousands. So that's neat. I appreciate that very much. And we've had some good stuff on the show. I mean, John Mozeliak just informed us just about every player. I ran down the roster with him. And I if you ever listen to this show and you need to go back, if you miss something, the great thing about technology today is right there in your hand. You just download the Odyssey app. I did it this morning because I wanted to go back and listen to something that was on our earlier show, Total Information AM Weekend. So you go to the Odyssey app and they break it up into segments that you can just go back and listen to a certain time. But Drew will take all of this content and he puts it on a podcast called Sports on a Sunday Morning that you can download at your leisure and just listen to in the car or at home. It's on iTunes and anywhere else. KMOX.com, of course, has it. Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast. You can click on John Mozeliak. You can click on Travis Ford. You can click on Lutz Pfannenstiel. You can click on our phone calls if you want to, because we did take some phone calls today. We could squeeze in a few more if you'd like. We only have a few minutes. 314-436-7900, 800-925-1120. But just to recap real quick what we learned on this show. Travis Ford, who is coaching the team right now in practice in Brooklyn, New York, has a game on Tuesday at 3:30. I know that everybody wants to buzz about his coaching status. I would advise just let St. Louis University do their due diligence and make an announcement about what he is doing in his future when that time comes. We did learn during the show that Dana Ford, the head coach at Missouri State, has been fired. So Dana Ford is out of a job, as is Brian Mullins, the coach at Southern Illinois. That happened actually on Friday, that he lost his job. So those are two big jobs in the Valley that are open. In about 20 minutes, they're going to tip in St. Louis at Enterprise Center. It is Indiana State and Drake in the final of Arch Madness. And I've said it now a trillion times, but Indiana State is a legitimate NCAA tournament team. So when I say that, I don't mean that they should be in the tournament. That's a given. They're going to be in the tournament whether they win or lose this game today. What they should be is a team that you feel, depending on where they're slotted and who they end up against, Indiana State should absolutely be a team that you have moving through the bracket into the Sweet 16. I think that they will be a 9 or a 10. I don't think they're going to be any higher than a 9. I don't see them as an 8 seed. But if they get into that 8-9 game, they're going to crush an 8. They are like an undisciplined 8 coming out of a bigger conference who doesn't understand who Indiana State is will get crushed. That team will score 80, 90 points at will. Now, if they play a disciplined team a little later, they could get stopped. And I mentioned any team that has bigs that could disrupt Robbie Avila, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you're not familiar with Robbie, you've probably seen him by now, 6'10" guy with goggles. That could be a problem for them. But other than that, they're going to blitz somebody. I mean, they are really good. And then Drake is a solid team with the player of the year, Tucker DeVries, who's going to go on to the NBA and be a really good player. They are solid too, and they should also get in. We talked to Travis Ford. We talked to Lutz Pfannenstiel. That was fun. Great match last night, 2-2 draw against Austin. I thought he had some fun things to say. He kind of encouraged me to try to find my way through the back door of the game for Inter Miami later today at 5 o'clock to go see Messi play. Maybe I'll take him up on that. We'll see. They play down here in Fort Lauderdale against Montreal. We also heard from John Mozeliak, and he once again reiterated it's very doubtful that Tommy Edman is going to be ready by opening day. He is dealing with still some complications, rehabbing from wrist surgery, and just isn't able to get it right just yet. Lars Nootbaar still not taking swings, still not doing any baseball activities. I did mention that I saw him riding on the stationary bike. He is working his way back. Hopefully he can be ready. I don't think he's ready by opening day. It didn't sound like John Mozeliak thinks so either. And as for Sonny Gray, they are encouraged. They feel a lot better today than they did at this time last week. So we'll see if that ends up being a good sign for the Cardinals moving forward. I know this. Cardinal baseball is coming next. The Cardinals are taking on the Miami Marlins down here in Jupiter, Florida. Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne, Jim Jackson, our terrific booth. They have the call next. For producer Drew Young, we say so long. I'm Tom Ackerman on KMOX.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
As an educator, Mr. Nelson's teachings are still being